Fun with chickens.
Big chicken from Asda. I'm just going to sort of like portion it out, and this is how I do it. I don't know whether that's the right way of doing it or not, but it just makes it a lot easier because once it's portioned you can then stick it in the fridge and use it for later. It's quite a big one, so I think I'll get quite a bit out of this one. So that's his back, that's his front. One of the first things I tend to do is, before you even cut any meat or anything like that, you can see here where the skin is, and you can see that the meat itself is not even attached to that part. So if you take that round, even though the skin can come off, when you actually look, you see that this here is not even ripped into any meat or anything like that. And then all you do is simply follow that line exactly the same way as you would, just around the back. Make sure you get in this little bit at the back here, which is really tender and nice, all the way down and around that bit, and then get that bit down there as well. And basically the joint pops out. Washing your hands, get around that way, you see a bit of light on it. This is me doing it backwards a bit, but there you go. The joint pops out, and then you get in there. You've got a leg, you've got a drumstick and a thigh ready to go. Exactly that. Now in the supermarket you'd pay for like what, 3-4 of those or something like that, probably about £4. The whole chicken cost me £4. Exactly the same with that one. Down the front there, open it up, you can bring that all the way around, not cut into any meat whatsoever yet, all the way down to there. I come all the way back round the back of these nice scallopy bits here, which I've managed to leave quite a bit in from the last one. Around there. Again, minding your fingers. Always cut away from your fingers if you can. Down to there. And then pop the joint. Out he comes. Take that bit off. There's your second leg. Boom. Wings are a little bit easier. You can either take those on, or you can leave those attached to the breast as well, which doesn't matter because I mean they'll come straight out, but I kind of like leaving them attached to the breast. But because this breast is so big, I'm actually going to portion it into 2 pieces. So I'm going to take each breast off, and then I'm going to portion that into pieces as well. So this part here is kind of the sternum down the front of your rib cage down here. So what I tend to do, these flaps here are actually quite tasty when it's all been roasted, but to be honest they're not great for much. So you take that back down that way, and one thing you can do is take that all the way down, there's not much in that, down to the spine, through he goes. Now that part, it's got some lovely meat on it, but there's not a lot of eating in it, so the only thing you can really do with it is probably make a stock or something like that. Give it to the dog perhaps, but there's some nice little tender bits in there. Okay, so now what we're left with is basically a crown but with wings on. Now as I said, I'm going to take the wings off this one particular bird, and you do exactly the same as what you did with the legs. Just go around the joint like so. You don't need to cut into any meat or anything like that. And then that pops out, and once it's popped out you can get the knife just behind it. Again, trying to mind your hands. I'm trying to show it to you as well. I mean, that'd be a lot a lot safer and a lot quicker if I was doing it just now. There you go. So it comes off. I'll try and do this one a bit quicker. All the way around. We're left with just the crown. You could roast that on its own, just as a roast chicken if you wanted to. It's quite nice. What thing you've got to feel for is you've got a wishbone in there, and then you've got the rest of the rib cage, which is just this part down here, and then that bit there, which is the sternum. It's made out of cartilage, really. So, best way to get the breast off of the bird is take that down there. Depends on whether you like to leave the skin on or not. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. And then you just follow the sternum all the way down, and you can feel the knife. You feel the knife sort of like touching in to that piece of cartilage which is in there. That way. And you come all the way down that bit. Whee. Now this is where you mind your fingers, but if you start pulling that meat away from what you're cutting it from, and let your bone just follow, let your knife follow the bone all the way down, 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 down. And like I say, the only bit that's going to be tricky is the wishbone, which is in there. Which always is. Follow that down, and you'll notice that it peels away from the rib cage, which is underneath. Again, minding your fingers, never cut towards your fingers. A lot of butchers would be screaming at me now, going, "Get your hands out of the way!" Making a bit of a mess of this because I'm trying to do it to show you. But never mind. Right, we'll go down there instead. There you go. Let's just get that off. This is a good thing about home butchering. It doesn't matter. If you leave too much stuff on there, you're not going to get shouted at by your boss or anything like that. So there you go. That's basically how that one would come apart. So that's basically your fillet that you would get, or your breast that you would get from the butcher. Obviously a little bit tidied up on that side, but there's a little fillet piece that comes out in the middle, and that's your breast. You can leave the skin on or take it off. It's entirely up to you. I'll do the other one quickly. Doing it backwards this time. Again, just find that cartilage, run your blade down it. You don't need to do it with a knife this size. You can do it with a much smaller knife if you want to. There's one way of doing the wishbone. You can just take it off that bit of the cartilage there. Pull the wishbone out. Wishbone comes out. That frees you up a little bit to get more of the breast off. Again, always make sure you don't cut towards your fingers, but use them to open it up and cut away from it. Again, great for stock. There's plenty of meat on there to make a stock out of. If I was being a little bit more cautious and taking my time, I probably would have got a bit more meat off the sternum, but it's pretty much there. There's the other breast fillet with a little bit of trim in and stuff like that. I mean, there's usually like little bits of cartilage and stuff left in there. So just a bit of trimming. Tidy that up, take the fat off if you want to. People take the fat off, they don't like it. And you've got a nice perfect chicken breast, just like you would buy from the supermarket, only it's cost you half the price. You got more out of it, because now you got 2 meals, another 2, there's 4 meals, and also got some chicken wings for roasting, or even whatever you want to do with them, make them into buffalo wings or anything like that. Just throw them in, or throw them in the stock. Tasty, tasty, tasty. Big breast like that, cut them in half. You've got 4 meals, plus the 2 legs and thighs, which are really tasty. 6, probably 7 meals out of that. 1 chicken.